Alright, we're here today to talk about the Honda portable generator that you're going to find on a lot of the engines. And do a basic overview and a startup procedure for these. Before I start the startup, I'm going to go ahead and give a general overview of the features you'll find on here. So the first thing you'll see down here is this Eco Throttle. And what this does is when the generator is not producing power and there's nothing drawing from it, it's going to go ahead and throttle down and go ahead and save your fuel consumption. And when it does have something drawing power, it's going to throttle up to just enough to operate that piece of equipment, again saving you fuel and extending the time that you're going to have to fill up on steam. If you switch this to the off position, it's going to run full throttle the entire time, burn through your gas, but it might be necessary in some situations. And also here you have an oil alert. That's a little red light. Then when you go to start it, or if it's running and has low oil, this light's going to come on. It's going to kill your engine and save you from doing damage to your engine. Right here we have our AC out, and that's where you're going to plug in your normal household items. Up on top here we keep a firepower connection, that way we can plug our household in and then connect our firepower connections to that end. This DC is simply for charging. We won't use that in the field for running anything. We have our circuit protector, and basically it's going to act kind of like a GFI. If something trips it, this is going to pop out. It's not going to give you power out of these. And so that might be one of the first places you look if you have a light die on scene. You just go ahead and pop that in. You might go ahead and start back up. Continuing with the overview, we have this gas cap here. You'll see it has two positions. It has an on and an off. Right now it's in the off position. In order to start this, you need to have it on the on position. This off position is going to seal off this gas tank and prevent any type of leaks. But it's also not going to allow air in and allow this to operate when it comes time for it to run. So you need to have this in the on position. Over here, we have the spark plug. On this side, underneath this panel, is where you're going to check your oil and also your air filters. You have your pull cord here. You can check that for any type of phrase, check the general condition of it. And then we also have our on-off switch. So, now we're ready to go ahead and start our daily startup and our daily check. First thing I'll do is go ahead and check this fuel. A little hard to see, but down in there is a little orange ring, and that's the max fill line. It's not the top of that white. It's down in there a little further, and it's a little orange colored ring. So we're good on fuel. And now we're ready to check the oil. There's a unit in the city whose low oil light came on. They just didn't have enough oil in there. And kind of one thing we found is it's easy to overlook because it's underneath this panel. So you might skip a day checking your oil. And one thing we've done to make that a little bit easier is go ahead and put the screwdriver right here. Kind of might remind you of it. Also makes it real easy. Just take this and open up this cover. So once you unscrew this, you can just put it off to the side. And here you see your air cover right there. And down here is your oil. Check that. I'll just put a little rag down. It has a tendency to leak out. But make sure it's on a level surface. And simply undo this dipstick. Wipe it clean. You see a little bit of oil dripping out there. And then put it back in here. And without screwing it in, that's going to be how you check your oil. You'll see, I don't know if you tell right there, but it's on the dipstick and plenty of it on there, so we're pretty good to go here. Just go ahead and wipe up that excess oil that fell off. While I'm in here, I'll just check the general condition of these lines, make sure there's no frays, nicks, cuts, leaking fuel, stuff like that. And on my bigger truck check day is go ahead and take this air filter off and check that. Now that we've checked our oil and our gasoline, we're ready to go ahead and start this. So to start this, you're going to want to have this Eco Throttle in the off position. And the reason for that is going to decrease your warm-up time and have it running at a higher RPM. So I'm going to flip my choke to the on position, turn the switch here on. Pull string straight out. Choke. I'll take this off. You can hear it running at a little higher RPM there. Switch it over to Eco Throttle. dies down a little bit. It's not running as high. So for the warm-up period, we'll go ahead and leave this eco throttle off. So our warm-up period is over. If we're in a situation where we want to use this eco throttle, we can go ahead and turn it on there. Just to kill a little bit of sound, we'll turn it on. The situations where you're going to want to avoid using that eco throttle are when you're going to need something with just momentary power, maybe a Sawzall or a rotary saw. You're just going to have your engine revving up and it's got a little bit of a delay to it and you won't be getting the power that you need. So in that situation, go ahead and keep the eco throttle off. But if you're using this thing for lighting, it's a good time to save your fuel and keep it on eco throttle so it just throttles up as much as it's going to need to. So before you plug this in, you want to make sure that whatever you're using, if it has an on-off switch, that you go ahead and keep it in the off position. Plug it in. When I plug this in, well, you're going to hear it kicked up a little bit, this RPM did. Not a whole lot, but the more you have on here, the higher it's going to rev. But I'm just going to show you the difference in fuel consumption here. If we turn this off, we're obviously using a lot more. We're going to have to refill this more often. It's going to be a bit of a burden on seeing. If we're just using a light, it's a good time to use that eco throttle.
Unplug it, see if you can hear it.
So once we're done using it, we're ready to shut it off. And before we do that, we just need to unplug everything we have, take the load off of it, and just switch it to the off position.